There's that man again.
One of the exciting things about fragrances is finding fragrances that I can either introduce or maybe even reintroduce to you guys. So I have a couple of them here that I want to actually feature in this video, and I think you'll like these guys. So stay tuned. What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the Teddy Files. I'm your resident sommelier, Mr. Diaz Teddy. And today we're going to talk about fragrances that aren't really talked about or not talked about that much that are absolutely fantastic. And I found a few of the fragrances that I have in my collection, and I just said, you know what? I want to talk about these because I haven't talked about them yet, and I don't really hear a lot of chatter about them on the internet. Now, one or two people, maybe some of them, but for the most part, they're really not talked about. So the first one that I want to get into is Laurental's Night de Paris Ocean. Let's see if we can get it to focus. That's about as good as it's going to do. Now, the smell on this one, sweet, blue, somewhat herbal, but really good. Really good. It's not an expensive fragrance. It is a little bit synthetic, but it does smell really, really good. I clocked it at about 6 hours or so. A lot of the fragrance notes in this one, pretty much you'll catch each one of the notes that I'm getting ready to read off to you guys. You got your bergamot, citrus, artemisia, lavender, and pineapple. So it wears a little bit of that sweetness from the fragrance comes in. Your base notes of cedar wood, and tonka bean. So you got the sweetness of the tonka bean and a little bit of the pineapple, but mostly citrus and bergamot is the things that pop at the top, but the lavender kind of carries the fragrance a little bit more. It's a really good fragrance. I don't hear a whole lot about Lowenthal fragrances, but I believe, in my opinion, they should be talked about a little bit more because they do have really good fragrances, and this happens to be one of them, and that would be Night de Paris Ocean by Lowenthal. So the next fragrance that I got coming up, it has no business smelling as good as it does, but it do it. And that fragrance would be Tahari's Leather and Oud. Now, if I could compare it to another fragrance, it would be Kayed Alfarsan, but this is smoother. It doesn't have that Middle Eastern kick at the top, although that is a very good fragrance. I have that as well. But there's something a lot smoother and even a little bit richer about this one. It's an absolutely amazing fragrance, and it's very cheap. I think I got this specific one right here, $9, man. Seriously. 4 to 5 hours of longevity, pretty good sillage, nothing over the top, nothing crazy. Once again, it's a $9, $10 fragrance that smells a lot more expensive than what it is. Like I said, man, really good fragrance. Really, really good fragrance. Some of your fragrance notes that you got in this one, you got your bergamot, mandarin orange, leather, oud, pepper, amber, vanilla, and woods. Now, a lot of the leather comes out, of course, towards the back end of the fragrance, but some of the spiciness from the pepper is definitely, you can definitely catch that. Oud is not strong, it's a sweeter oud, but what you catch most is the amber and vanilla. This is a really good fragrance, and like I said, it has no business smelling as good as it does for the price that you can get it at. And I'll make sure I link it in the description box so you guys can check out Tahari's Leather and Oud. So the next fragrance that I got coming up, some people like it, some people don't. I happen to be one of those people that like the fragrance, and that would be from Gisada Uomo. So this fragrance here, it doesn't smell like your typical fragrance that you smell out on the market now. It has a completely and totally different profile from what I've smelled. It puts you in the mind of Dolce and Gabbana, the one. It kind of has a few elements like that, but it's not exactly that. It really does its own thing and it has its own twist. Some of your fragrance notes that you got in this one, your top notes are apricot, Italian lemon, and artemisia. Middle notes will be cedar, labdanum, wisteria, and rose. And your base notes will be amber, suede, ambergris, and moss. So what I pick up mostly in the fragrance, especially with the top, is some of that sweetness from the apricot. But apricot, everybody knows, has a different kind of smell to it, and I catch a little bit of it here. But mostly, what you're going to get when you are checking this fragrance out is a lot of the suede and more of the amber. It gives me about a 6 hour longevity mark. It has a really good sillage though. I've clocked the sillage at about half arm's length or so for quite a while. So it's a really good fragrance for that aspect. Now, if you don't like the scent profile, I would say I don't know if how well it is or how much you could get a tester of it. But what I do, like I said, I blind buy things, and I went on and blind bought it. Happened to like it, worn it a couple of times. Too hot to wear it now, but if it's something really good for the winter, it's a nice, cozy, warm fragrance. And it's something that you may actually enjoy. But once again, like I said, be careful. If you blind buy, remember, buy at your own risk. It's your money. You don't have to get it just because I recommend it. But this is something for me that I'm going to be wearing this winter coming up, and that would be Gisada Uomo. So the next fragrance that I got coming up, I don't recall anybody talking about it at all, but I'm going to talk about it today, and that will be Australia's Albert Einstein Quantum. So this fragrance right here, nothing groundbreaking, nothing that's going to blow your socks off or anything. You don't have to have, every fragrance that you wear doesn't have to do that. Sometimes you just want to smell nice. It's an easy reach, grab and go fragrance. Beautiful atomizer. But that beautiful, oh my goodness. See, some things just smell good. And the combination of pineapple, bergamot, and black currant at the top, and no, it does not smell like Aventus, is so amazing in this fragrance. And then you got those middle notes of the osmanthus, the orange, the jasmine, and the juniper berry. You got some sharpness from that juniper berry. But then you got the woodsy aspect of the oak moss, the ambergris, and some of the Peru balsam, the musk. That musk and Peru balsam ambergris combination really hits home at the back of this fragrance. This is a really good fragrance, man. It is not talked about. The longevity is about a good 6-7 hours or so. So you don't have a problem with that. Sillage is pretty good, and is not an expensive fragrance at all. So as far as I'm concerned, this is definitely something this week, well, this is the end of the week, so perhaps next week, that will get in the rotation, or I might just wear it over the weekend. We shall see. I have other things, but I might bump something out of the way to get this on my skin, and that will be Australia's Albert Einstein Quantum. So the next fragrance that I got coming up, I haven't heard a whole lot of chatter about it, but I'm about to start chattering about it now, and that would be Grandeur Elite Soaked Sun Exclusive. It's my fragrance of the day today. I think I'm about to say it. Now, you already know my go-to summertime in the bottle fragrance. This is number 2. This is fragrance number 2. It is indeed a clone of Afternoon Swim, and I have a decant of Afternoon Swim. I would say this gets you about 90%, 90 to 95% there. This is an absolutely amazing fragrance. You get about a good 6 hours out of it. The sillage is amazing. The sillage is crazy on this one. Some of your fragrance notes on this one, you got top notes of bergamot, grapefruit, lemon, mandarin orange, and regular orange. You got your heart notes of coconut, ginger, lily of the valley, neroli, and pineapple. And your base notes of amber, mate, musk, and sandalwood, all to come together to give you this beautiful, crisp, clean, citrusy, amazing fragrance that's perfect for the summertime. This is perfect for beach. This is perfect for the office. This is perfect for date night. This is great for anything that you want to do in the summer. You get that nice hot sun going up against this thing right here. Absolute magic. So if you can't afford afternoon swim, which, I ain't got it, so I ain't trying to get it just yet. Maybe someday. But for right now, I'm okay with this. And that would be Granular Elites Soaked Sun Exclusive. So, of course, the theme of the video is fragrances that a lot of people are not talking about, and this is one that people should probably be talking about, and that would be Prix de Provence number 63. So this fragrance here, I've spoken about it on other videos. Really good fragrance, but it is a beautiful, I would say, laundered smell to it. It's very clean, very crisp fragrance. Although you would think for some of the fragrance notes that I'm about to read off to you guys, it would be a little bit heavy. It's not heavy at all. It's a very light fragrance. It's a good 6 hours that you get out of it. Your top notes are citrus notes. Your heart notes are cedarwood, plum, and violet leaf. Your base notes are leather and tobacco. And so when you get to the base notes, you do get a hint of the leather and tobacco, but mostly what you get is this really clean, woodsy, somewhat green type of smell with this. This is a really good fragrance. It is more so good for the spring, not so much in the high heat, but you could wear it if you watch your sprays. Just don't overdo it. Don't overspray it, because if you do, it will accent some of that plum and some of that heavy tobacco and leather. You don't want to do that in the summertime. But a nice cool night or a nice spring day, this one right here will be right up your alley, and that will be Prix de Provence number 63. So the next fragrance that I got coming up, I believe I have become a fanboy of this fragrance house. And why not? Because they have excellent fragrances. And I'm telling you guys, you might want to get on the bandwagon of Mauboussin, and the fragrance is Private Club. So this fragrance here, now the tops are always weird. They're little teeny tops, but the fragrance itself, it's sweet, but there's such a gentlemanly quality to this fragrance. This is a true gentleman fragrance here. It is inexpensive, 7 hours out of it at the most. Pretty good sillage. It's not going to blow anybody out of the water, but when I tell you, this is a elegant, gentlemanly, just amazing fragrance that in all honesty, a lot of people should be talking about, and I'm shocked that nobody's really mentioning this fragrance. Some of your notes in this one, your top notes are pepper, cardamom, bergamot, and coriander. Your middle notes are cinnamon and red apple, and your base notes are amber and patchouli. This fragrance right here, you get a lot of the spice from that pepper at the top and the coriander, but for the most part, it's not a heavy amber or even a heavy cinnamon. Everything mixes together so beautifully to where you really get this gentlemanly, just really put together fragrance that is, like I said, very inexpensive and should be talked about more. But like I said, I'm talking about it now, and hopefully if you get your hands on it, you'll be talking about it soon. And that would be Mauboussin Private Club. So the last fragrance that I want to talk about, and I usually don't do this, but this is more of an honorable mention than anything because the fragrance is discontinued. You can get your hands on it, but you can do that over in eBay for some crazy prices. And truth be told, for this fragrance right here, it is something, in my opinion, that hasn't been talked about enough. Had they been talking about it back then, I probably would have got my hands on ZEGNA INTENSO. So sometimes when your nose hasn't matured, it just hasn't matured. When I first got this fragrance, I did not like it. I was actually about to give it away. And then I got it on my skin and really, really witnessed the magic, the absolute magic of this fragrance. This fragrance is out of this world awesome. I'm maybe back in the day when it was in its heyday, it was talked about a little bit more. But in my opinion, this was a horrible fragrance to discontinue. There's no reason this should have been discontinued. This could compete with a lot of the iris fragrances that you have on the market now. Um, so I'm not sure what happened. I don't know what happened over there, but in all honesty, if you have your hands on this, you already know. You know what you know. If you don't, I'm so sorry. But if you do want to, you can go find it on eBay. I'll link it. Like I said, I'm not sure I would pay that price for it, but I can't tell you what to do with your money. Let me tell you about these fragrance notes. Your top notes, you got cardamom, tonka bean, lemon. Your middle notes, you got pink pepper, sandalwood. And your bottom notes, you got your vanilla, vetiver, green mandarin, and iris. This fragrance right here is put together so well. And in all honesty, I didn't like this because at first I didn't appreciate the note of iris. I wasn't a big fan of it. I wasn't a fan of just, in my opinion, how feminine I thought that it smelled until it started. I started smelling it in some of the other compositions of men's fragrances that have iris. And then once I sprayed this again, it was instant magic for me. And especially when I put it on my skin, this might be something that you may want to get your hands on. I'm not sure, but like I said, I'll put the eBay link in the description box if you want to pay that money for it. I wouldn't, but I can't. Like I said, I can't tell you what's worth it for you and what you want to spend your money on. But for me, I'm so glad that I got my hands on ZEGNA INTENSO. So once again, everyone, that is my time, and I know I've been gone for a while. But for me, it's peak baking season, so I do a lot of the car shows, motorcycle shows, and things of that nature. And it's crazy, you would think, as it gets hot, people actually want me to turn on my oven. But if you tell me that you're gonna pay me to turn on my oven to bake out these baked goods, then I'm just gonna turn on my air conditioner and make this thing happen because I'm gonna get to the money. But as far as these fragrances go, guys, in all honesty, I think all of these fragrances are absolutely amazing, and it should be talked about a little bit more. And I'm glad I was able to talk about it today. And make sure you like, share, and subscribe to the content because it helps the channel to grow. And make sure you hit that bell icon so you get notified each and every time I upload a video, because my name is Mr. Diaz Teddy, the fragrance sommelier, and over here we don't do stink, so please don't be a stink ass. Have a good one.